Hi, good morning, Stella Lucas. How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you? How's the baby?
Everyone's great. The baby's good. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are with the matriarch of St. John's Wood Synagogue, the Queen Mother herself, Mrs. Stella Lucas, a very beloved member of our synagogue. Stella, how are you planning to celebrate your 104th birthday next month?
It depends what's happening in the country, doesn't it? I'd love to have the family round, but and it would have been normal, but we'll have to see.
Well, if not, we'll have to do a Zoom party and we'll have to celebrate with you. But Stella, it's amazing to be able to have this opportunity. I know right at the beginning of the lockdown, we had a phone interview, and I thought it would be nice to have a face-to-face one, just to really see how you're doing. First of all, if you could tell us very briefly, how's life going and how are you keeping yourself busy?
Oh, first of all, I've got plenty to do keeping up with the correspondence, all the committees I belong to, and I keep myself busy all the time anyway. There's always something to do.
I wanted to ask you this morning 2 or 3 questions that we didn't get a chance to speak about last time we had a chat. First of all, your husband, the late Victor Lucas, was the president of the United Synagogue.
Yeah.
I'm sure you saw my interview with the current president of the United Synagogue. In what way has the US changed in your lifetime? And if you could just give us a bit of a background, what was it like to be in that role half a century ago?
As far as the presidency of the United Synagogue was concerned, it was still then, as now, recognized as an extremely important organization worldwide.
Absolutely.
And we traveled everywhere under that banner.
Who was the chief rabbi when your husband was the president of the United Synagogue? Who was the chief rabbi at the time?
Brody was the chief rabbi at the time.
What do you remember of Chief Rabbi Brody?
Studious, not the kind of person you made a joke with, but the kind of person that he loved to study and talk things over with. Fanny Brody was different.
Sure.
She would like to have a little mussel and a little joke, and she was different. But they both needed us when they moved from Hamilton Terrace to get them settled in Marble Arch. Literally brought Jacobovitzes over. We literally went to the airport to bring them over from Ireland.
Wow.
Oh, again, we had to put them in. We had to show them where the kitchen was. We've done all sorts of things for the United Synagogue.
So you had a very close relationship with Lord and Lady Jacobowitz when they lived in St. John's Wood?
Oh, tremendously close. In fact, the children, I'm still in touch with Shoshi. We phone each other and say good Jan and all that kind of thing. We were very, very close. For a long time, he had to rely on Victor till they got the feel of the community.
I mean, Lord and Lady Jacobowitz made a huge impact on Anglo Jewry and worldwide. What impact did they make on your life personally?
If I could tell you that when we moved in here, we've been living in Dollis Hill. They had only been in London months. When we moved in here, as the van drove up outside, a voice is calling, Stella, Stella, Lady Jacobowitz. I said, what are you doing here? I've come to unpack. That's how she started. Unpacking for me when I moved in here. An incredible person, the like of which you will never ever see again.
Unbelievable. Going back even further, do you have any recollections of Jewish life during the war? I know now Jewish life has been majorly disrupted. All the synagogues are closed. Do you remember the disruption that took place during World War II?
During the war, it was very difficult. First of all, Victor was in the army straight away. The war hadn't been declared 5 minutes and he was gone. So he was in India for 4.5 years. He came back on VE Day.
Gosh.
That was hilarious.
Wow.
So first we were evacuated to some to a castle, stately homes, and then eventually we came to Hemel Hempstead. So the first thing my father did was to make contact with the shul, with the church, so that we could have it Friday and Saturday. A chutzpah. They had to turn out from their church. So we, anyway, got away with it. And also at half a mile down the road was Buxmore, where the United States Air Force were posted. So every Friday we had about 20 for dinner, 25 for dinner. My mother had to have all the Air Force. So war years went by very quickly, as far as I was concerned, because I was working all the time and Victor was away.
Wow. What year did you get married?
1938.
Wow. That's incredible. I mean, when you were born in 1916, George V was the monarch. It's an amazing thing you've seen in your lifetime. George V, Edward VIII, George VI, and Queen Elizabeth. You've seen 4 monarchs on the British throne, which is quite an achievement. And tell me something, have you ever met any of the royal family?
I've always been invited somehow or another to the garden parties, which are good fun. The time we went to the garden party, somehow we were always introduced. If you're going to get introduced to the Queen at a garden party, you'll have to stand back.
You know, if you look back, what would you say is your greatest achievement of your life?
I suppose the things that I started, like the Central Inquiry Desk and the all aboard shops. I mean, the shops have been really fantastic. The amount of money that we've given to charities, it's really inconceivable, isn't it? I mean, how many have been done? It's wonderful.
It's truly amazing. I mean, All Aboard, just for everyone to understand, is a chain of over 60 charity shops that Stella started over 30 years ago. An incredible legacy to you that you started this incredible.
Yes, it is one. Yes, but I'd like to go. I'd like to go back. I'd like to go back to the beginning, into my home as a child, because I can remember. First of all, my father was very busy on everything, so come Shabbos, Friday, everybody's rushing around like mad, and my mother's waiting to light the candles. So my home was lovely. And as a very youngster, I can remember trottling along Shabbos with my father and my elder brother to shul. We lived quite a long way away. We lived in Victoria Park Road, and the shul was in Devonshire Road. So it was a good 20-minute walk, which at that age time. But the shul and the home were intertwined, and they were lovely. That's all I can remember. That the youth was absolutely lovely.
In recent years, Stella, you've become less involved with All Aboard. Do you want to tell us the reason why?
2 words. They decided to open on Shabbos.
Wow.
Simple.
So Stella resigns from the board.
I asked them not to, and they insisted that's the best trading day. And I proved to them that until they opened on Shabbos, we had given more money to charities than anybody else. They opened on Shabbos. The first 2 years, they didn't give any money to charity.
You know, as a rabbi, obviously it's wonderful to hear this, but why, from your perspective, why was Shabbat such an important thing to you, and how is your Jewish identity such a central part of your life?
Yes, Shabbos is part of my life. It's, as I say, from my toddlers running behind them to shul in Hackney to the present day, Shabbos is part of my life. And they're going to open on Shabbos. And even though I was the founder, they voted me out. So I said goodbye. And that was it.
Tell me about your love of cricket. I know you're a huge cricket fan. In fact, me and you, we went a couple of years ago together to Lord's. Where did your love of cricket? Where did your love of cricket come from? We had a great day out. Where does your love of cricket?
Yes. Yeah, you didn't know what was going on, did you? Right. Again, this is family. As I was growing up, my elder brother and then eventually the younger one as well, I always, they were practicing in the garden. We had an enormous garden where we lived in Victoria Park. I had to be the runner, the skipper, I had to be the odd job, everything. They were playing. If the ball went over the fence, I had to go and collect it. If it went everywhere, I had to do it. So in the end, I got used to everything. And in the end, I began to like cricket. And I joined and I made tea in the box for 25 years. And the word got round Lords, come on boys, kosher cake, Stella's on. So I got mobbed on when I was on. Although they knew, not Shabbos, not Yom Tov, not Jewish holidays, but otherwise I was there with a tea.
And didn't you have your 90th birthday party at Lord's?
Yes, so they gave us the long room. I had the long room at Lord's, which was smashing. And for the first time in the history of Lord's, and I think I've got it up here somewhere, on the notice board at Lord's, which is sacrosanct, just the score, it had Lucas S, 90 not out. That was a score, 90 not out. That was on the scoreboard.
Amazing, amazing.
Lovely, and I love cricket. And
Stella, you know, people watching this love you and know you so well through your regular visits to the synagogue. Kanai Nahora, you're 103, you're about to turn 104. What is your secret to longevity, to being of sound mind, of sound spirit? What is your secret?
Keep busy. I repeat, keep busy. That's all. Just keep busy. You'll never age if you keep busy. You haven't got time to get old.
It's an amazing thing. You know, I remember a couple of years ago chatting to you in November, and you had already booked your summer holiday for August. And that to me was incredible. Why did you do that?
Well, because I have to book things in advance, because I got everything booked up, you know, for years ahead. There's all sorts of things were going on. Hebrew University, my Freemasonry, you know, so many things I'm involved with. So I had to keep going. That's all.
Incredible. Stella, this has been such a privilege. It's been so nice to have this conversation with you. I look forward to seeing you back in shul very soon.
Please God, we'll open the shul soon.
Do you have any message to all your friends and fans watching this video?
Yes. Whatever happens, don't forget your roots. Don't ever forget your roots. Don't ever forget your Yiddishkeit. And don't ever forget the duties you owe from your community to the wider community. Don't ever forget that. There's always a duty to perform. So, and
Stella, thank you so much. This has been a privilege. Thank you very, very much.
Love to everybody. Bye.